There is a tax strategy wealthy business owners use every single year that can save them thousands of dollars. And the frustrating part is a lot of self-employed people and small business owners could be using this too, but don't find out until they've already overpaid the IRS for years. I am Pam Garrett, money protection lawyer, and today I'm going to explain S-Corps in plain English, how they save money, when they actually make sense, when they absolutely do not, and the mistakes that can get you in trouble with the IRS. If you set one up the wrong way, because an S-Corp isn't magic and it's not for everyone, but when it's used correctly, it can be one of the simplest ways business owners stop handing the IRS money that was legally always theirs to keep. Before anything else, I need to clear up the biggest misconception. Most people hear S-Corp and think it is a special type of business you start. It is not. An S-Corp is not a magic business structure. It is a tax election. You still need an LLC, your business, your clients, your services, and your bank account. Nothing about your day-to-day operation changes. But for tax purposes, you are telling the IRS to treat your business differently. That one decision can change how much you owe every single year. Today, how it saves you money, when it makes sense, how to set it up, and the mistakes people make that get them in trouble. Let's start with the mechanics, because once you understand how the savings actually work, everything else makes sense. Part 1, how an S-Corp actually saves money. To understand how an S-Corp saves money, you need to understand self-employment tax. When you are self-employed as a freelancer, a sole proprietor, or an LLC owner, you pay self-employment tax on your net business profit. That covers Social Security and Medicare at a combined rate of about 15.3% on every dollar of profit. So if your business earns $100,000, you owe roughly $15,000 in self-employment tax before income tax even enters the picture. Here is what the S-Corp election changes. You split your income into 2 buckets, your salary and your distribution. Self-employment tax only applies to your salary. It does not apply to your distributions. So if you earn $100,000 and pay yourself a salary of $60,000, only that $60,000 carries that 15% tax. That remaining $40,000 comes to you as a distribution subject to income tax, but not self-employment tax. On $40,000, that is over $6,000 in self-employment tax savings. Every single year, that money stays in your pocket instead of going to the IRS. But this only works if your salary is actually reasonable. You cannot pay yourself $5,000 and pretend the rest is magically tax-free. That is how people get in trouble. The IRS requires that S-Corp owner employee pay themselves a salary comparable to what you would pay someone else to do the same job. If your salary is unreasonably low, the IRS can reclassify your distribution as wages and hit you with back taxes, penalties, and interest. Reasonable compensation is not optional. It is a legal requirement, and it is the first thing the IRS looks at when they audit an S-Corp. The savings are real, but they require doing this correctly, which brings me to part 2. When does an S-Corp actually make sense for you? Quick pause before part 2. If you are a business owner and you have kids, there is a strategy that pairs perfectly with the S-Corp. Hiring your children. Their wages are a deductible business expense. If what you pay them stays under the standard deduction, they owe 0 in income tax. And their wages make them eligible for a Roth IRA. You shift income from high tax bracket to their 0 tax bracket. Legally. I put a whole toolkit together that walks you through this and how to do it correctly. Go to kidsonpayroll.com and I will also link it in the description. Now on to part 2. An S-Corp starts making sense when the tax savings are bigger than the extra costs and responsibilities. And there are some extra costs. When you elect S-Corp status, you are required to run payroll. Typically runs $50 to $200 a month. You also need to file a separate business tax return called a Form 1120-S, which costs more to prepare than a standard sole proprietor return. Budget an extra $500 to $1,500 a year in accounting costs. Most tax professionals start recommending the S-Corp election when the net business profit reaches somewhere between $40,000 to $50,000 per year. Below that, the extra costs often cancel out the savings. Above it, the math actually works out strongly in your favor. $100,000 in profit, an S-Corp can save you $6,000 to $10,000 in self-employment tax. Subtract the extra costs and you're still saving several $1,000s a year. And that number grows as your income grows. Not having an S-Corp when you qualify is essentially choosing to overpay the IRS every single year. This strategy is legal. The savings are real. The only question is whether the numbers work for you. Who should not use it? A new business that's not yet profitable, side hustles with low income, and businesses in states with high S-Corp fees like California. Always run the numbers with a qualified tax professional first. The math works for your situation. Now, how do you actually set it up? That is part 3. Part 3, how to set up an S-Corp. Setting up an S-Corp is a clear process. Here are the steps. Step 1, form your LLC if you've not already done that. That is your business foundation. The S-Corp election layers on top of it. Step 2, file IRS Form 2553 to make the S-Corp election. There are deadlines. Generally, within 2 months and 15 days of the start of the tax year, you want to take it into effect. Miss the deadline and you may have to wait another year. Work with a tax professional to get the timing right. Step 3, set up payroll. You need a system that handles your salary, tax withholding, and quarterly payroll filings. Services like Gusto, ADP, or QuickBooks. These services handle it for small businesses. Step 4, keep your business and personal finances completely separate. Dedicated business bank account, dedicated business card, clean records. This is not optional. It is what protects you if the IRS asks questions. Step 5, work with a CPA or tax attorney to file your annual 1120S return and cite your reasonable salary correctly each year. This is where a lot of people think the job is done, but the election is only the beginning. Once you become an S-Corp, you have to operate like one every single year. Which brings me to the mistakes, because this is where most people fall apart. Common mistakes. What gets people in trouble? Mistake number 1, setting the salary too low. The IRS has challenged S-Corp owners paying themselves tiny salaries to minimize self-employment tax. When they win, they reclassify distributions as wages and assess back taxes, penalties, and interests. The cost of getting caught is far greater than what you would have saved. Pay yourself a reasonable salary. Document how you determined it. Revisit it every year. Mistake number 2, mixing personal and business money. Running personal expenses through your business account or using your business card for personal purchases muddles your books, raises IRS red flags, and can actually expose you to personal liability. Keep them completely separate, always. Mistake number 3, skipping payroll. Some owners make the election and then take everything as distributions without running payroll. That is not legal. The IRS treats S-Corp owner-operators as employees. No payroll means you are not operating the entity correctly, and you are creating a serious risk. Mistake number 4, using an online template and calling it done. S-Corp stuff involves specific IRS forms, state requirements that vary, payroll systems, and ongoing compliance. A mistake of setup can cost you far more than a qualified professional would have charged to do it right. Bad internet tax advice is everywhere. The IRS does not care whether you read it. They only care whether you followed the rules. Now let's recap. An S-Corp is not a business structure. It is a tax election that splits your income into salary and distributions, and only the salary carries self-employment tax. For profitable business owners, that difference can mean thousands of dollars in savings every single year. It makes sense when your profit is high enough that savings outweigh the extra costs, generally around $40,000 to $50,000 in net profit. It requires the LLC, an election, payroll, clean bookkeeping, and an annual 1120S return. The mistakes that get people in trouble: salary too low, mixed personal and business money, no payroll, and DIY templates instead of qualified professionals. Done right, the S-Corp is one of the most powerful legal tools a small business owner has. Done sloppily, it creates a problem that costs far more to fix than it has ever saved you.